Hope 103.1 FM. Hope 103.1 FM. Why listen to anything else?
Oh, Jesus.
Good vibes.
Never could have changed my mind. My father is the most I got, so no matter try waste my time. If I know God, you know me not.
Godly energy. You are listening to Hope 103.1 FM Grenada.
Becoming one. For this reason, a man shall leave his mother and father and cleave to his own wife, and the two shall become one flesh. Becoming One, a program designed to strengthen marriages, challenge couples, and reignite our passion for loving godly relationships. Join us as we discuss kingdom marriage principles on Becoming One, hosted by the Sabazans. Becoming One. Becoming One. For this reason, a man shall leave his mother and father and cleave to his own wife, and the two shall become one flesh. Becoming One, a program designed to strengthen marriages, challenge couples, and reignite our passion for loving godly relationships. Join us as we discuss kingdom marriage principles on Becoming One, hosted by the Sabazans. Becoming One.
Good evening, guys, and welcome to Becoming One. It is such an honor and a pleasure to be back again. Remember, we're on every second Friday in the month, and it's an honor to have you. Welcome again. We are your hosts, the Sabazans.
The Sabazans.
Oh, yes. All right, guys. It's such a blessing to be back to discuss again all about, marriage, all about, the institution of marriage and everything that goes along with it.
Yes.
We had such an interesting discussion last month with Dr. London. We spoke about Before You Say I Do. Remember
Before
that topic?
Say I do. that one was very interesting, and I believe a lot of things came to light from that last program.
Oh, yes.
So I remember a couple of things that she mentioned. That was our esteemed guest.
Oh, yes.
Dr. Shirley London. She mentioned that premarital preparation and premarital counseling, they are not the same thing. In fact, counseling is a part of preparation.
That's right.
Some people only consider counseling, and counseling meaning formal sessions that basically goes on for a couple sessions, rather 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them.
Yes,
sometimes
and that's it.
3 of them. I've been talking to some people during the course of this week, and I spoke to a young man, Lady Sabi, and he said, I asked him, were you prepared for marriage? Right? He said to me, I was married since I was 23.
Okay.
Right? And he asked me the question, if he was prepared, and he said, I only had 3 counseling sessions. You understand?
Yeah, that's
no, he's a grown guy.
He's
a grown guy. And then he said this interesting thing to me. He said, I said, so what you did when you encounter a problem in your marriage? He said, boy, most times I stop and I look within myself, see what the problem is. I go and pray. Right? He said, he go and pray and ask God to help him. And when God give him the solution, he say, all right, he learned. And he gone every time you have a problem.
Praying is a good way to go,
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of the matter is, if you're studying to be a doctor,
yeah,
if you're studying to be, a pilot, You know, if you, let me not say if you're studying, if you want to become a doctor, if you want to become a pilot, if you want to become an engineer, you go to school to learn.
That's right.
You go to university, you go through all the levels that it takes to be properly qualified so that you learn and understand all the little details about being a pilot, about being a doctor, etc. Why don't we prepare for marriage?
We prepare for a professional life, but we don't prepare for
that's not
a
good.
relationship that most of us we desire to be a part of for the
Yes.
rest of our lives.
Yes, and that's what it should be
Right,
for a
so-
lifetime.
It only makes sense that you prepare. But today we're not talking about preparation again. All right, but indefinitely, actually, we are still somewhat encouraging you to prepare.
Oh, yes.
And if you're already a married individual, we want to remind you.
about
that-
some things.
Yeah.
All right.
But before we do so, we'd like to play a little clip, a little video real quick. So we just want to encourage you to enjoy it. You
Pay
understand?
attention to it.
Pay attention.
All right.
All
We'll
right.
be right back.
Oh, man. What a day, bro.
Tell me about it.
You just doing a bunch of grading or what?
Yeah, every day. That's life.
Man, I'm telling you, the kids at this school are the worst, bro.
Oh, so it was a normal day for you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I got a lot of grading. Better jump in. Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, Zach.
Hey, are you guys going to the marriage conference next week?
Going to Gospel Light?
Yeah, that one?
Yeah, it should be great.
Yeah, we always go.
Man, guys, I can't wait to get married. I mean, what an incredible and joyous experience that must be. Almost like heaven on earth.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's like, Zach. You got it right.
You know, can I ask you guys some questions about relationships? You know, because Anna and I, we've been fighting about a lot of petty things lately.
Yeah, Zach, look, we'll shoot straight with you, man.
Sure. Hit us
Okay.
up.
So, do you guys fight about little things when you get married?
Okay, Zach. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, okay? Once you get married, all of the fighting, it just stops.
Really? Like, it completely stops?
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly. You
Yeah.
got it right.
Yeah, you never fight about petty things, like whose turn it is to put the kids to bed.
Yeah, no more begging for forgiveness. Like when you make a simple, honest mistake, like, leaving the toilet seat up or forgetting to replace the toilet paper the way they like it, under.
I don't get it. So, when does it suddenly change?
Like what time? It's magic.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a fairy tale, Zach. Like marriage is this incredible and wonderful state of mind. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just like the realization that you're gonna be with this one person like the rest of your life. It really frees you up, you know? I don't know.
Wow. This is awesome. Okay, so what else happens?
For one, you lose weight when you're married.
You guys look fatter to me.
Hey, it's a muscle jerk.
This is great though. Keep going.
When you're married, it's like you just always want to look your best.
You know what else is really great? You just make out all the time. Her breath gets better. You don't have to like breathe through your mouth when you're kissing her. Just get ready for those long makeout sessions, spontaneous.
True.
That will be awesome. My favorite part.
Another thing that's great about marriage that you don't realize until you're married is like how much fun it is and romantic to talk about money.
Really? My girlfriend and I almost got in a fist fight last week over joint checking.
Well, you know what they say, Zach. It's like marriage just eradicates defensiveness.
Yeah, I would say that and criticism too, right, Jeremy?
Yeah.
Once you're married, you never want to make fun of your wife and the lack of her education to all of your male friends. It doesn't come up or even come into the mind at all.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, once you're married, it just frees you from thoughts of wanting to run away to a desert island
Wow.
and be alone and never return.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, you actually don't realize how close you get to your wife's family and the constant desire you have to always be with them.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. I mean, it's almost scary how much I enjoy looking forward to the time I spend with them. Like,
Yeah,
I
all the
can't
time.
wait for the holidays. I mean, I love my wife's mother.
Okay. That's great because honestly, my girlfriend's mother, she can be a real pain. Real pain.
Oh, mother-in-laws, let me tell you this. On your wedding day itself, all those problems and brattiness, right, and demanding, that just goes right away on the wedding day. Yeah, just 100% gone, vanished.
Oh yeah, and that wedding day, Zach, it's like stress-free.
Really?
You don't argue about travel plans, and the band shows up on time, and the photographer remembers to take that picture of you and your grandpa who dies like 2 weeks after your wedding. I mean, it's great. It's magic, man.
Wow.
Zach, marriage, in a word, is a dream. It's a wonderful, wonderful dream.
No, you're right.
Wow. Guys,
Yeah.
thanks so much. Oh, hold on. Oh, hey, this is her calling right now. I gotta take this. Okay, well, I can't wait for marriage. See you guys.
See ya.
Later.
Okay.
Jeremy,
Yeah.
should we tell him the truth?
Nope. No one ever told me.
Fair.
All right, guys, that was an interesting video. We hope you enjoyed it. It had a lot of irony in it. Okay, just a couple of guys just trying to be,
Funny.
open and realistic, but obviously they were not telling the truth. All right, they were being very ironic about what some of the challenges that they have in marriage.
Yeah.
All right.
I like the end, it's like, should we tell him the truth? and it leads us to ask the question sometimes, you hear everybody talking about marriage, oh, it's such a lovely thing.
And it is.
It is.
It is beautiful.
It is.
All right. It's God ordained. It's something that God wants for us. All right. But, sometimes people paint the perfect picture. Like if there is absolutely no problem, everything goes perfectly for us from day to day. We argue about nothing. There is nothing that, we have no kind of confrontations. Everything is perfect.
Well,
That's not true.
well, it is actually perfect. It's just that some people don't see it as perfect. It's perfect.
Well, I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
But what we're trying to say is that
I get you. Don't worry. I just say
marriage is not something where you have no misunderstandings. Where we won't always think alike. We're two totally, completely different persons coming together. There will be a little friction from time to time. You have to expect that.
Yeah.
All right. So don't expect, this perfect, completely perfect relationship. All right. So we're giving you a heads up. We're not like those guys in the video. We're giving you a little heads up.
Yeah.
All right. Guys, today, let's introduce our topic.
Some people say, before you go into the introduction of the topic,
Yes.
some people say, I wish I knew that was going to be part of it. So they get married. I'm like, I didn't know all of that. All I heard was...
And that's why we spoke about premarital preparation last time. All right. We want people to know that marriage is not just something you jump into. You have to prepare for it.
Definitely.
All right. It's
The
important.
more prepared you are, and what do you have to prepare for, really? And I mean, we don't want to go back there, but
Right.
it is still important to note.
For you to remember.
Yes,
Yes.
because when you're in your marriage and you start experiencing troubles and problems that you weren't aware that existed in somebody's life prior to getting married,
Right.
then you go and try to find a counselor or get counsel somewhere. But if you knew a lot of things before you actually...
Remember, we say prevention is better than cure.
And let's leave that right there. Let's go right into the topic for tonight. We are one, not two.
Yes, that's our topic,
We are
guys.
one,
We
not
are
two.
one, not two. You're seeing two persons there, but we're one, not two.
Well, I just got a sweet analogy right there.
All right.
Right, so you have two eyes. Both of them are called eyes.
Yes.
Eyes.
Yeah.
What are they called? Eyes.
Yeah.
Eye, left eye, right.
But they work together.
They work together.
Yeah,
If you
these
take out
eyes.
one, is like
Yeah, it's off balance.
you become off balance.
Yeah.
So when you have both eyes, you see better.
And you know how the body works, and for those of you who are doctors or you study biology and so, you would know that the eyes, yes, they have they work together for the image, but really and truly the brain creates one image, because the two, yes, there are two eyes, but at the end of the day you see one image. You don't see
Two,
you don't see in doubles.
You don't see doubles. In other parts, see doubles, they had to like do something abnormal. I say, you get
see
that, right?
one image, one.
All right, so we want to jump into tonight's discussion.
Yes. All right, so when you get married, there is no longer you and me, but it's all about us. So those of you thinking about getting married, and those of you already married, you're supposed to be talking about us, not me, not
us.
You,
Yeah.
but us. All right, let that word us become a very popular word in your marriage. Whenever you think about your marriage, don't think about me. Let's say your name is Linnell. I'm Linnell, and this is just done. So I'm not thinking Linnell. What will please Linnell? What will make Linnell better? What will, I think about us. All right, we're a team. All right,
and that in itself, it may sound simple, but really and truly it carries a lot of weight. Like, sometimes you have a situation in marriage where one person, they just want it to be all about them. Just that, they say, like, well, husband have to take care of their wives and so forth. And the wife just wanted to be all about her because
not so.
I see my father taking care of my mother, and I believe that's the way it's supposed to be done.
And that's fine, to take care of your wife. But what about, the other part?
So
wife taking care of her husband.
Understand? So when
it's
you think
not a
about
one-sided thing.
The easiest way to like lay down and to make it simple is we are taking care of each other.
That's right.
You understand?
Us.
Once we are taking care of each other, we're in a good space.
Yes.
But if only one person need matters more than the other person, then you understand? My friends say not me, myself, and I.
I like that other comment there from one of our listeners. It says marriage is like a beautiful rose, but we're not forgetting about the thorns. All right, roses are beautiful, but you also have thorns. I agree.
Yeah.
All right, so it is beautiful, but don't forget about the thorns. They can prick you really bad. All right, so yes, so we building up to the we are one, not two. All right, so we're talking about marriage. Marriage, is the merging of two lives into one. That's why we say we're not two, we are one. Yes, you physically see Justin and you physically see Linnell. All right, but we are one. We are the Sabazans.
Yeah, and
we're
the result basically is a team effort.
Yes,
constantly. I mean, if you have one person that on a team that is not
working towards the goals of the team, you know what has happened there?
You can't win. You can't win. Where there's disunity, all right, there's problem.
Yes.
But when people come together and they agree, or when a husband and a wife walks in unity, not just love, because sometimes we say, oh, well, you love me, so it's supposed to be that way.
Love alone can't make a marriage work. Eh?
That's news for some people.
It's not love alone.
Yeah.
A lot of people love each other and they get divorced.
And they still get divorced. And even when they are being counseled, or when they've been counseled prior to divorce, and you ask the question, do you love him? They'll be like, yes.
Do you love her?
Yes. But why are you getting divorced? One thing, two things,
all kind of things.
But they would say, even while you're divorced, they would say, I will always love him. Oh, I will always love her. Amazing.
So it's not just love. All right. So,
well, let's clarify.
Let's talk about, first of all, the word marriage.
Marriage, yeah.
We spoke about in our first episode, we spoke about the covenant marriage, but we want to talk first about the word marriage because, it has been used to describe many different types of unions that are really not biblical. All right, ordained by God. So, in today's world, you hear all kind of different kind of marriage.
You hear about marriage.
You hear about.
It's amazing.
Yeah, you hear about man and man. You hear about
and that's the thing.
Man and animal.
I wake up one morning.
Kind of thing, boy. What?
Babes, I remember the morning I wake up, and when I wake up, the Lord was just pouring into my spirit.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things, you know, that people just hear marriage and they just think, okay, well, I need to get married because the word marriage
Sounds
good.
good. Yeah.
Marriage in itself is a word. You understand? It's a word. You hear people writing, talk about this thing has been married to this thing.
Yes, it's like a marriage of two things.
Right.
Yes.
And they know they're talking
Not
about it
necessarily
becoming,
people. Right.
again, they're talking about a oneness again.
Right.
But God has his own definition.
And as a matter of fact, I believe that marriage is, not believe, but I know that marriage is something that was created by God.
By God.
But man has taken that word and turned it around and given it its
All
own,
sort of
their
thing.
own meaning.
Yeah.
Because if you look for marriage right now
the
in the
definition
dictionary,
you
you're
would
finding
get
all kind of different things.
definition. It will frighten you, eh?
Hey, look at this definition we got. I can't remember the exact source, but it was on Google.
Yeah.
I think it was
I'll tell you.
All right.
Merriam-Webster dictionary.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. It says it is a culturally and often legally recognized union between people called spouses. All right. In some other, definitions, they're basically trying to say that, once two, notice they say two spouses, between people called spouses.
Right.
So I can possibly call another woman my spouse, or if I'm a man, I could possibly call another man my spouse. That is what the whole meaning of marriage is.
Yeah.
Or you can get a mannequin, blow up woman and say I'm getting married to her. Or I can get a little puppy, a dog, and say that this is my husband.
But things have
All kinda-
changed so
all
much,
kinda-
and even between people to people, you have where people talk about it like what your common law wife, right? So just because people are
Can a wife be a wife
kinda-
without making a commitment?
Yeah.
Without saying I am your wife and making certain vows. There must be a
so you
covenant.
get a picture.
If
So-
I don't agree, if I don't make a covenant,
but
before-
you're just living
it's
together.
not a marriage.
It's not a marriage.
It's not a marriage.
That's it. Yeah.
You
So-
cannot consider it a marriage.
So back then they should just have it as a common law relationship, but now
They're calling it
they're
marriage.
common law marriage,
Yeah.
things of that nature. But God has given us I would say a perfect definition for marriage.
Oh, yes.
And when we think about the kingdom type marriage, we think about a covenant marriage.
Yes.
Right? We think about that. And we spoke about that in a very first episode.
Yes, that's right.
That the marriage covenant, you could always go back on our YouTube channel, on Hope FM YouTube channel, and check it out.
Yes.
The marriage covenant. So we're not going to go into that too much, but babes, you want to just read a little bit there again what the scripture has to say about that, so we're not just talking from our heads and what we think.
All right, so this here is a biblical definition, and the scripture that this is taken from, it says from Genesis chapter 1 and verse 31, it says, "Therefore shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave unto his wife, and they shall become one flesh." We know that scripture very much. It's very popular. But given that scripture, right, a better definition or a more biblical definition of marriage is a God-ordained covenant relationship between a man and a woman.
And
All right?
that's just as straightforward
Yes.
as it gets. You understand? It's
A
like
covenant relationship.
I can't imagine it any other thing being a marriage. But we know. We're not here to bash nobody.
No, but
We are here to
what
say
God's word says,
and that's final.
that's what we uphold.
Final authority.
Right?
You understand?
Yes.
So God must bless your marriage. It's very important that the blessing of God. So when people say they in a covenant, they in a common law marriage.
That
you
God
have to
don't
ask
bless
yourself
that. No.
if God bless
no.
it.
No.
Right? Think about it. Did God bless something like that? Right? So God must bless your marriage. And, He must be in the picture of that marriage too.
That's right.
We're talking about the covenant marriage. We're talking about the marriage that please God.
Yeah.
So we're talking about man trying to please themselves. We're talking about people who are now recognizing the importance of, a divine being in their relationship.
Yes.
It's not just a one-time thing. but an everyday thing. You don't
yes.
lose track. Listen, even in the covenant marriage that started that particular way, if your sister continue with how you were put together, remember, the witness came, you went before them, and the pastor say in the presence of God. Why don't you want to keep the same presence of God all
In
the
your
way
relationship.
in the relationship?
Yes.
So while the marriage may be between a man and a woman, God must be in it. He must be in the center.
It's in the presence of God too.
Of course.
So he's a
it's
part of
still,
it.
Keep your
yes.
marriage in this. You keep God in the marriage
That's
all the
right.
time.
Always.
Now it may sound a little bit like that common sense. What you already saying, like we already know that we have to keep God there. But let me tell you something. There's a real devil out there that knows that when God is not in the marriage, he can have his way. And more time what he does, he interfere with the marriage. So he pushes big ugly face inside, he look for a little way.
Corrupt it.
Sometimes people give a door. We talk about doors before somebody open a door to the enemy. And he comes in and he does, he rip havoc there. You know what I mean? So you want to make sure that God is in that picture.
That's right. And you must, in order for you to really function as one, because remember our topic is really we are one, not two.
Yeah.
You must understand what marriage is. You must understand what the covenant marriage is. You must understand, you must have a deep understanding of what that is, because if you don't have that understanding, you're going to lose the meaning, and you're not going to really cooperate to be one as
Right.
Christ really wants us to be one.
Right.
All right.
So, go ahead.
All right. So you have that understanding of what a covenant marriage is, then you will be on the right track to really be in one and not two.
Yeah. So, again, the world, to the world, it's not a big issue to not have God in the relationship. It's like, all we need, God, is money, because when we have money, everything is going to be all right. You understand? And a little bit of good health.
Oh, Lord.
And we are blessed, and our marriage are blessed. Apparently, that's how some people see it. You understand? But
Money
you
can
must
cause
ask
so
yourself
much
a question.
problems, yeah?
Very important. And we even going there yet, But we're going to get there too. Oneness with your finances. Keep it locked, right? But let's talk about that. Is why you get married. Why, are you married? For those who are married currently, why are you married? Why did you decide to say I will or I do? And I ain't gonna put you on the spot now. But I feel like
I can answer that. I could
Why?
answer that.
Why?
All right. One of the main reasons I got married was for companionship. All right. The feeling of being lonely, and also wanting to have a family, have a family of my own.
Right.
That was one of my main reasons.
I wanted a wife that
Yes.
could, work with, make her more like Jesus.
Okay, mister. All right.
But companionship is very important, and the family, you understand, you don't want to be promiscuous, that's the word.
Promiscuous, yes.
You don't want to be running around the place like a wild-head chicken. As a young man, I thought it made sense to settle down with a one woman that I can, work along with and build my life, build my family. Very, very, very important. You understand? And I thank God today for my wife. She has been my number one cheerleader. I said she's the woman that I know that has the biggest heart. And people don't have to know that.
Wow, I'm
but
flattered.
Don't be flattered. You have to know what you know. You
All
understand?
right.
So she has a big heart, a big loving heart. And if you experience what I've experienced from her, you'll understand what I'm saying. But trust me, I remember when I said to God, I want a woman that loves you and fear you. Understand? And I've found that in this precious lady sitting besides me here right now.
Okay.
You understand? I found that. And the thing is, It's not that we don't have a little disagreement from time to time. In fact, this morning we had a little disagreement, but something I say kind of make her get upset. But when you have knowledge, you could know how to deflect these, feelings that may come about. So I went and I gave her a nice little hug and I say, "Honey, you okay?" Yeah. And,
yes, Olia, my husband trying to make me blush here.
I had to melt down that thing that was coming up, because you have to be observant and you need that knowledge to be able to, sometimes just a little pat on the back, young fellas. All right.
So let me stay on the topic tonight. Let's get to the meat of the matter.
I was actually trying to score a little bit there too,
Yes, he's scoring you. Well scoring. All right, let's get to the meat of the matter. So we're talking about, we are one and not two.
Yeah.
So let's get to the meat of the matter. What does being one flesh really mean? That's what we want to start discussing. All right. Good night to you, Bonnell. All right. It's so good to see you on. I hope that you're feeling, a little better right now in the evening. All right. What does being one flesh really mean? Because we hear it. We heard it from the word. A man should leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. We're always hearing about this one flesh.
Yeah.
But married people and people who are single and thinking about getting married need to understand what being one flesh really means. Because they're expected to be one flesh. As a matter of fact, once you get married, the Bible says that you are one flesh. So let's talk about what one flesh really means.
I remember a couple of years ago, my friend said, a friend of mine said this to me. He said, Sabi, when you put on the ring, you ain't become one yet. When you say I do, you ain't become one yet. Until there's contact, then oneness really happen.
Okay, so you're talking about the physical oneness. Okay, well, to a certain degree, I agree.
He said until there is contact,
yes.
You understand? Until there is copulation.
Right.
Then oneness really
Then
start.
you are one. One
and that
flesh.
is important.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Good
yes, I
evening
agree.
to you, Auntie Sylvie, Blessing Michelle, Vanessa Francis.
Hey, blessings to you guys.
All right, so let's go into it.
Right. So the first part of Genesis 1:31 gives us an idea. All right. It means, so when we read Genesis chapter 1 and verse 31, it gives us an idea of what it really means to be one flesh, because the word of God says that the man, he's leaving his father and mother and cleaving. All right. Being one. All right. You're leaving and you are cleaving. So when the woman and the man leave they leave families behind. All right, we ain't saying forsake your we're not saying forsake your family and don't remember about them. But what is really happening there is that you are leaving two different families and you are coming together to become a new family. So you are actually forming a new family. You are becoming one. All right. So you can know when you come together. All right, you can now have your own new
family.
Your own new family. You can call it your new culture. So you can decide. Listen, every Sunday we're going on the beach. Every Sunday evening we're going on the beach. We can decide. Listen, on a Friday evening is family evening. We're doing karaoke or whatever. Right. So you can form your own new. This is your family. You can decide. Listen, we're gonna teach each other to bake something on a Saturday morning or what. You form your own. This is your family.
Yeah.
All right. You have to remember that you're leaving and cleaving.
Well.
All right. So listen. Before you get into that, your wife don't have to make. She don't have to cook like your mother.
Like your mother.
Your husband don't have to discipline like your father.
Yeah.
All right. So, as I said,
and you can think about a lot of things.
You're leaving
the oil down,
and you're
it
cleaving.
tastes like mommy oil down.
No.
The pea soup
don't have to taste like daddy own.
So sometimes when you have there sometimes a little bit of conflict can come.
Yes.
Because
Listen, mommy used to do this before she do that.
And you could just, you don't even need to go deep into
Diarrhea
that.
quarreling.
You can just sit and think about the amount of things that people who probably they left in body, but they are still there in mind.
Yes.
You understand? It's a total living. It's
Yes,
not
and
a
clean.
part of you. And we're not saying that certain things you might think carry with you.
Yeah, you have to learn.
Because there are
you
things
learn
that might
certain
be
things.
good.
Yes.
Just what if mommy taught you to cook it and it tastes good?
Right.
That's nothing. You can cook it, your husband might love it.
Right.
And then one day he'd from his mother and I say, wow, you did a really good
Hey.
job. Because you and your daughter cook the same way.
Yes.
You understand? Yeah. So
But the
it's okay,
problem
but the
comes.
problem comes when there's comparison.
Yes, and
Right?
say, well, mommy didn't used to do
And
it that
that's-
way. Daddy didn't used to do it that way. That's where the problem comes there. Mommy used to cobweb every evening.
And it's still on the
Daddy used to
surface.
put a little piece of a piece of raisin in the dumpling. You must
And
put raisin in your dumpling.
Or you may say mommy and daddy, giving
Yeah.
them all the blame, but some people
Yes.
may well have a better relationship with another family member, like a brother or sister. Maybe
Right.
auntie used to cook certain things that you
Yes.
like, and
Yes.
you just keep bringing it up. So it's no matter leave certain things. You have to be wise to
Yeah,
say
it's your new
Basically,
family.
it's a new family,
You
that's what it
create
is.
things together. You create your own little, everything you do, you create anew.
And the big concept is, as the Bible says in the book of Amos chapter 3 and verse 3, it says, can two walk together except they be agreed, right? And that's what we are really trying to get to you. When you leave your family, your how you say that?
Your mother and your father.
As the Bible says, leave your mother and your father, right? Because that's where you came from. And you're going to cleave to your wife.
That's right.
Two of all, you need to learn to agree on
Yes,
things.
let's agree.
And agreeing
Yes.
could be very difficult at times because, again, sometimes mindsets, the way how people
Yes,
think
it was
about
done
things.
so for years.
Yeah,
That's
and it's
yes.
yeah. Let me finish it. But it's you have a stick, kind of have this kind of one way of how something can be done. You're not
And
open
it can't
to
be done anywhere else.
yeah. You're not open to
to
hear.
difference or to change. Change is a
sometimes
difficult thing. Eh?
basically seriously
Yeah,
change.
change can be difficult.
Yeah, definitely.
Mommy accustomed washing every Wednesday. Listen, you must wash clothes Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because that is the better way. That's the best. Well, who said we can't wash Monday and Friday? Who said we can't,
Let's just take a
you
comment
have to
real quick
learn
here.
to agree.
And guys, you can feel free to send in your comments and so forth. All right, but this viewer here is saying the problem sometimes come also when some people's the in-laws expect your partner to be like them or to do things like them, even the trivial things.
And that's a problem.
And you know the thing
That's a
about
problem.
the trivial thing is never really trivial unless you decide to trash it out prior to getting married.
Yes.
So the whole idea about preparation again, for those of you who are not married, all right, if you're already married and you're experiencing problems in your marriage, you can have some post-marital counsel, which now can help you to dissolve
can
some
talk
of
about
these
these
minor
things,
issues
yes.
that, the little foxes that comes around and they turn into a big issue.
Yeah.
You get hard. When I say you get hard, is that you don't care. This is the only way it needs to be done. Woman, what you telling me? Or, man, I don't know what you're saying. I don't know it that way. I don't want to hear it no other way. And
we have to be
and you
open
have
to
this
compromise.
That's right. So until you guys can now come to a place where we can sit down and say, okay, let's look at that situation. All right? Let's look at it. And trust me, it could be a lot of
Yeah.
trivial things.
It's little things that add up to big things, eh?
Very much true.
One cocoa, they say there's fill basket. So you might have one little cocoa there. You keep adding and you keep adding. It's a lot.
Big problem.
So them little things that just add up to big things. So we have to learn, as the word of God says, can two walk together except they be agreed? So you have to learn, and that is why marriage is not for immature people.
That one heavy girl.
If you are not mature, and some people might say, yeah, I'm mature, but maturity is not based on your opinion of what you think. You have to take advice from other people.
And
you
if
would know,
if you can't take advice from your
yeah,
own wife or your husband,
yeah, something wrong.
why you even married? Are you ready for that? Like, why you even decide?
That for sure
That is
shows
part-
lack of maturity.
And that's it. That's part of the thing. So to put it,
Yes.
layman terms, that's part of the thing. You understand? What? Let's just think about it like that, right? All you saw was your mother washing clothes.
Yes.
She never taught you to wash clothes.
Okay.
You get married. You have a wife, she started washing your clothes. One day she's sick, she can't wash your clothes. What happened then?
Clothes stay in Bangkok for weeks until she get better.
And you understand the problem?
Not good enough.
Young man, your wife is not your maid.
She's not a slave.
She's not a slave. She's your helpmeet.
Yes.
You understand? So she's there to help you. But you must be the leader in all helping. You have to lead.
That's right.
You understand? You have to lead. And the leadership is not saying, when the Bible talks about submission, that I am the man. Yes, we know that. You are the priest in the house. But that doesn't mean that you have to come down on your wife like
big
a
stick.
slave master. If you don't do that, I'll beat you. And I'm saying it that way, but really and truly, that's happening in some people's home.
That's right.
When they're not getting what they want, they become very aggressive. And they start woman beating man. Don't get it right. Don't think it's woman alone that beating woman. It has happened both ways. You maybe never hate yet. But
True.
some woman does beat the husband, boy.
True.
Like little children. You ain't doing that. Broomstick in his skin. And the humble guy just there, and he's like, my mom never taught me. I was not even a violent person. I really love you. And he stay and he get any licks with the broomstick.
Right.
So the oneness really matters. And that's what we're saying.
matters. It
Unity
matters.
is key. Yeah?
Agreement is key. So you must be able to agree on
Yeah.
things, because
And-
you can't walk together as a couple. How can you walk together if you don't agree?
If you're not agreeing.
You will be in front, I would be behind.
Behind.
You go be over there, I go be over here.
You shining, I looking bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Um,
real quick too, a little compromise will help. Calm down yourself, have a nice conversation.
right.
If you find you're having hard time, seek God face on the situation.
True.
Before, I'm just trying to show you ways that you can be able to, move from argument and this quarrel and all this fighting. You understand? Because the more you see it your way and you don't want to sometimes change or to the other person's way,
You
or
don't
to
want to
see it
give
from
in.
another standpoint or another viewpoint, you have problem. Then other parts of your life will be affected. Other parts of your marriage life or relationship would eventually be affected. And you ask yourself sometimes how people say they love each other, but yet still again they're gonna get divorced. Why?
Again, it's not just love that keeps a marriage. There are other things.
Let's go.
All right. So we're talking about, what does being one flesh really mean? So we spoke about the leaving and cleaving. Also, it means that the husband and the wife no longer operate as two, but they operate as one entity.
One entity.
They are like one body. All right, think about your body, and the Word of God speaks about the body of Christ, and different people being able to have different purpose and different functions. In the same way, think about the marriage as a body, and we function as one, but we have different parts to play.
Yeah.
All right. So, think about it. All right. You're the husband and the wife. You have different. One might be, the person, functioning as the mouth, the hands. But they're working together. They're one. All right. If you take away, the function of the wife or the function of the husband, if you take away certain things, if you cut off a body part, somebody is functioning as the hands, or somebody is functioning as the mouth, somebody, you cut off a body part, we know it is painful.
Yeah.
All right. Think about it as in the physical. It seems like in that kind of oneness, you cut off. It's extremely painful. All right. It's painful.
I feel you. And as you say that, I can only imagine when you have the How we call that?
Premarital.
No, not premarital. You're talking about premature death in a relationship.
Okay.
So, like, husband and a wife have a good thing when they have a family. And that change, again, where one person now, you weren't expecting that, but then that person, unfortunately dies. And now...
It's painful.
It's painful.
Yes, it's painful.
So...
It's like a separation taking place
basically,
there.
it becomes
it's like,
painful.
Yeah. It's like, you can use the same analogy of the body parts,
Yeah.
Imagine having to remove one of your body parts because you are one.
Mm-hmm.
You are one.
But see, that's a
All
matter.
right? And the same thing with divorce, having to remove.
Physical, and then you could think about
having
it
to
like...
remove, amputate a leg or,
Yeah,
a
matter-
hand. Or,
a matter of the heart.
It's a painful thing.
Yeah.
That's why divorce is so painful. That's why losing, your spouse in death, it's a painful thing because you are one.
Because honestly, like I wouldn't want to lose my wife right now. I mean, God, please, I pray you, God. I don't want to drink from that cup.
None of us.
I don't want to drink from anybody out there. Want to drink from that cup?
No
Man,
way.
I want to grow old, my wife, and reach. We get old and we can
100 and something.
Yeah,
unless Christ come before.
I prefer that rather than have to.
Yes.
Separation is hard.
It's
people.
painful. It's painful.
It's hard, and for those of you who have experienced that before, I mean, you know exactly what we're talking about.
Yes.
And those of you who have probably had this close separation, it's like, had it not been for the glue in a relationship, which is God,
yes,
the main man in the relationship, you know for sure today your relationship would have been apart.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So you know exactly what we're talking about. Yeah?
Yes, guys.
Mm-hmm.
So as we said, the marriage relationship is like husband and wife functioning as one organism, as one body, right? They breed as one.
Yeah.
They eat as one. They rejoice as one. They experience pain as one. It's like, if you imagine you get a bad cut on your hand or your foot, the whole body feeling it, man. So when something happens to you, when something happens to your wife, the husband feeling it.
Yeah,
when something happens to your husband, you feel it. Everybody is feeling it because we are one. So when the body feels okay, you eat a good food and your body, everybody feeling good.
Listen, let me make that make a little more
whole
sense.
body.
Let me try to make. I ain't so old, right? But when my wife was pregnant with our child, both of them, and I remember one time she was experiencing a little difficulty, and I'm telling you, I'm feeling the thing too. I left my wife in the hospital. I went home and I down on the floor and bawl and roll and cry and bawl to God and say, God, please. Listen, she's the one carrying the baby. Me in no bed trying to push out no child, but at the same time, I'm feeling the pain for her. You understand? I can't sleep because we are one. So when she has a joyful moment in her life, something good happens
That's right.
to her. Just the same. I rejoice in.
You feel it. You feel it. We are one.
Yeah. That's how it is.
Yes.
So imagine trying to live your life separated, but yet still it's supposed to be one. I mean, let's go on.
It doesn't make sense. If you are one, then one person experiences something beautiful, you experience it too. One person experiences the pain, you experience it too. When the body receives food, when it receives food, it grows, it's being nurtured. The entire body, prospers as a result. So when your husband receives, when your wife receives, you receive as well. The relationship grows.
Listen, that's what the problem does be,
Yeah.
Because as you say, when your wife receive, your husband receive. Some man when they get, it's all about them. Like I doing well, thing nice.
No, it's both of us.
No, I came home this afternoon. I gave my wife some news, and she started to rejoice.
Yeah,
because she knows very well what that new news that I shared with her, right? She know what I mean for us.
That's right.
Yeah.
You hear saying us, not for me.
You know what I
not
mean?
for me
us.
or for you, for us.
So, guys, we really want to just remind you
yes.
that if you're married, you are one. If you're not married as yet, you're actually you're working towards that. and you want to start the right way, you understand? You don't want to just do things helter-skelter and any kind of old thing, one bam, anything goes. No, you want to make sure that you have a quality life together. And most importantly, as this viewer just sent a message, God must be in the equation, and we established that from the beginning. All right?
Yes. Oh, yes.
So wonderful life with God. All right?
So we're talking about oneness, right? What else? What else do we mean when we say that we are one? All right? This part, a lot of people might not be able to swallow this one too much. All your resources are also merged because you no longer exist as two, but you are one. So all your resources, let's think about it. You're getting married. I own a house, you own a boat. I own, I don't know, whatever I own, and then you own something else. But when we become one, when we get married, it's ours, you know. So it's no longer my house and your boat. It's our boat and our house.
If you have two houses, it's our houses. You understand? Everything that you own, it becomes singular.
You had a child by chance before
child
marriage.
Is our child.
It's our child.
Everything
it's not your child and my child.
Yeah, and as the Spirit just said, marriage is about singularity. You have a plural in it. It's about singularity.
Right.
You know,
one.
One.
Yes.
Although you are two, but you are one.
Yes.
You understand?
That's right. That's right. So, let's get into, people talk about getting married, and then you talk about, the money thing is a little ticklish. It's always a little ticklish thing in marriage. But I believe if you're getting married and you're talking about you are one, I believe in merging everything, including your finances.
Yeah, and that part.
Even if we have multiple accounts,
yeah,
I should have access to yours. You should have access to mine.
Yeah.
All right. We can have joint accounts, but there should not be anything called my money and your money. Right?
I think
we functioning as one. We're one. We're like one body, one organism. It's mine, it's yours, it's both of us own. It's us. It's us own.
I like how I say it. It's also now our one is also all I heard before.
Oh gosh.
It's also one. You understand?
Yes.
So the thing is that I think the money thing does always be an issue for some people who weren't properly prepared for marriage.
Right.
I have to say that way. If you weren't properly prepared for marriage, then you would be married, and then after you're married, you're married, and when you're in the marriage, you're not having a conversation about money. You're going to the supermarket as two married individuals.
Yeah.
You're going to the supermarket and you're asking your husband the question: who buying the bread? Who buying the milk?
You go pay for the chicken. I go pay for this.
You go pay for this. You're gonna do that? Like, seriously? What you could be asking your husband that question? If you just ask your husband that question, you need to stop. Yeah, man, I rebuke you. You need to stop. And husband, if you're asking your wife that question, you need to stop. I rebuke you. Listen, at the end of the day, it is very simple. It's not a big thing. It is our money, right? It is our food for our way to eat.
Yeah.
For our children to have. You understand? It is our electricity bill, because both of us using the current.
Yes.
Is our internet bill, is our water bill. So what happened? Why one person had to pay it? No, you see, don't get me wrong, Yes,
no,
one person paying it.
Yes.
My wife might be paying it.
But
the account that it comes from, the money, the source. You understand?
Our money.
Is our money, our finances. Nothing about you can't take out of that account there today because my money don't have, and I don't have enough money there today, babes. You can't. No. Go in your account. It's wrong. You feel me? It's wrong. So you're telling your husband go in his account. Go in our account in this bank song better. Go in our credit union account. Go down to, what's the new credit union, please?
We ain't giving advertisement for people.
No marketing. You understand? Go in that one. Go in this one. You know what I mean? And let's pay this bill from that account today. Right? Because you have option. But it's all your money. Because, it's like, if, like today, and I could just give that, I went in a particular credit union, we have an account there, some years. And, I went there to get some money and they tell my wife had to sign. So I was like, what? Both of us had to sign, both of us had signatures on this account. I said, but I don't know that, miss. What are you telling me? So I called my wife now to find out what is this about, because we had to sign with all our accounts joined. But then I remember when we talked about it, the credit union me doing that shopping stores for a while, and I go calling him again.
Anyhow, we go rectify that.
But the point I'm making is,
yeah,
I needed to get the money from the account to do something, and when she told me that, it made me feel like, oh, like even though I know it's a mistake, it still made me feel like, oh, because I was like, that's not how we decided we were going to treat our money.
That's right.
You understand? And that conversation was a conversation we had well over, 15 years now?
A long time.
Yes. And it works well. Right?
You said 15 years. We married 15 years?
We married 14 years, but before we married, we talk about that.
All right, so true.
You understand?
Let's
Let me
take
take some
that comment.
comments. Let's take some comments. Yeah, let's take some
The
comments.
one from Siona.
All right, so Vanessa, all right, it can happen. Okay, let's take this one here first. I don't want to miss none. So when becoming one, whatever happens to
One affects the other.
whether positive
That's true.
or negative.
That's true, because we won.
Yes.
That's what
Thank
we're saying.
you, Sharida. What's her name? Sharida?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Blessings to my brother Fushong, I see you. All right, so Vanessa is saying, I'm in agreement with the merging, but there's always
an issue with trust.
And that's a nice comment, because why would you marry somebody you ain't trust?
That's right.
Like, you remember your life, you go in and sleep with that person, eat from them. You trust them with what you're putting in your mouth, but not even with your money. Like, seriously, let's think of,
I don't agree with getting married to somebody you don't trust.
if you could trust me to cook for you and feed you, you should trust me with your money. Yeah. And you might say, oh, that's different. But what about the money that you love so much that you can't, you understand what I'm saying? So if you can't trust the person with your money, don't get married to them. And that's where preparation comes in, no?
All of these things should be spoken about. You should discuss all of these things before marriage. You don't want to get into a marriage and then you just start to discover, my husband is a thief, and that's why you all of these things.
And there's some realities. Maybe there might be one that might be a better manager. You understand?
Yeah, and that's okay.
So you figure it out. Not because you man mean that you supposed to be handling the finances in its entirety in the relationship.
Right.
So you need to figure out who is the better manager.
Right.
You understand? And you come to that conclusion and you say, you know what? I know that's your responsibility. If I'm the man and I figure it's my responsibility to pay the bills and I could handle it, I do it. But it's my wife's responsibility. I am saying to her as the husband, as the head of the home, babes, I don't think that's not my strong point. You conduct a SWOT analysis in the relationship and see who's strong where and who weak there. And then you say to her, babes, you can pay the bills, or I will pay the bills because I think I'm more, a little more capable there. Right? So that's a real good important thing in a marriage. Trust, yeah?
Yes.
All right, you go ahead and read this one.
All right, it says oneness should be us trusting each other enough to celebrate the diversity and uniqueness without intimidation. Everything we have belongs to God and the other person. Very interesting comment right there. All right, very interesting comment. You have to be able to celebrate each other enough. All right? You have to be able to trust each other enough, to celebrate the diversity and uniqueness without intimidation.
God and your husband.
Right?
God and your wife.
Yeah.
Everything you have, belongs to God and each other.
Trust is a big part of relationships.
So some ladies say their money is theirs and the husband money for both of them. But what is that? And I've heard that before.
Yes, that's a question.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Now, personally, I don't agree. I don't agree with that. I agree with everything merging, because when you come into the marriage, the resources, if it is that the husband's money is, if my money is mine and his money is still mine, then the poor husband has to come up with, he has to find a way to, I don't know.
To make things work, to make things
To me,
work.
that is not
Yeah.
meeting each other halfway. That is not
There's no unity
trying to
there.
manage properly. That is putting extra stress
Mm-hmm.
on one person in the relationship, which is not necessary.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is the money thing has always been a funny thing. People
It
have money
is.
so close to their heart sometimes. It leaves you to wonder why we so thing with money. Yes, we understand we could use money to buy stuff and it could bring a level of comfort. But at the same time, listen, money can't buy health and it can't buy love.
At all.
Money can't even buy respect. True respect and true love, because you could get something that look like it, but it ain't the same thing. You understand?
Right.
It's a counterfeit. So
Right.
at the end of the day, you don't want to like. Y'all should just see money as a tool that you use for happiness.
That's
for your
right.
wife
It's a
happiness.
tool. It's a tool.
Manage it. On the Money Talk, me and saying me some time ago, we talk about good stewardship. Husbands and wives supposed to be good stewards of whatever it is that God has blessed them with. And once that is done, you will have peace in your house. Because when my cash is low, my wife know, well, all cash is low. You understand? And not my cash low. All
That's
cash
right.
is low.
That's right.
So at that time, she can't be telling me no, I want to go to America. Like you see the kind of, and then no, she make her mind up, I'm going to America. And she may probably want to take the money that she has in her account. And I say in her account, yeah. And the husband be like, well, this woman wicked. And then she's like, nah, I ain't wicked. It's my, come on, what's your priority? And you should have a list of priorities in your relationship where your money is supposed to go. Budgeting is important, and we ain't
yes.
going into that tonight in detail. But you see, money is a issue a lot of times, so that's why we have to spend a little time on it.
That's right.
But it's now 8 o'clock. You understand?
And that's okay.
I feel we'll take a little break here, come back.
We'll be
around.
right back.
Yeah, we'll take a break here, guys, because I might just get a little bit over passionate, and so
Stay with us, okay?
stay
Don't go
with
anywhere.
us. We come back. In the meantime, do take an opportunity and share this with somebody you think can benefit from it. You understand? And we are grateful for everyone who shared so far, and those of you guys who are there looking on tonight. God bless you and keep it locked to Hope 103.1 FM. This is Becoming One. DJ Sabi, Lady Sabi, the Sabazans.
Becoming one. For this reason, a man shall leave his mother and father and cleave to his own wife, and the two shall become one flesh. Becoming One, a program designed to strengthen marriages, challenge couples, and reignite our passion for loving godly relationships. Join us as we discuss kingdom marriage principles on Becoming One, hosted by the Sabazans. Becoming One.
All right. So we are back. Thank you, guys. So keep
yes.
it locked. All right. Okay, Lady Sabi. So that money would get me so passionate. I had to take a break because, I've learned some things without this concern. I've seen what works and I see what makes.
And I think
the
it
home
takes
happy and
takes
easy.
counsel. It takes
Yeah.
godly counsel for you to come to a place where you understand the managing of money, and you don't, as husband and wife, you don't start holding on.
Yeah,
All right. It takes a bit of counsel for you to understand
Yeah.
this whole concept of our money, our finances, our resources, and not thinking of it as mine and yours.
Yeah. And there's
Right?
a lot of mindset.
You don't get there easy.
Yeah, there's a lot of mindset change. Whatever your parents probably taught you,
True.
whatever you learned on your own. So but marriage, as my wife said in the beginning, it's a leaving and cleaving, as the word
That's
tells us. It's a
right.
leaving and cleaving. It's about starting something new, creating your own culture.
That's
as
right.
as husbands and wives,
Yes.
or as a family, creating something new. And if you have you develop healthy habits and attitudes for your relationship, it will work well, because it's like in a business, there's a principle in the business that says the accountant, for example, probably check the money, and then every particular time at the end of the month, she pays the employees. Somebody's
Right.
responsible for that. So
Right.
it's all about knowing your functions, your roles, understanding what is agreed upon, because what is agreed upon will make things run smooth. But whenever you have like people trying to go even we agree on something to begin with, and then you just start doing your own thing thereafter.
That
you
can
know,
cause
you're causing problems.
Yes,
So a lot of
yes,
things could be
disagreements.
avoided. If you're gonna do something different, just be respectful, and just say to your husband or to your wife, I know we normally do it this way, but this month can I do this? Not asking permission.
You discuss it.
You can discuss it and come to a conclusion,
That's
because you
right.
don't want to affect the flow of things in your
Right,
relationship, right? So we'll
right.
leave that right there.
I forgot this last point here just before we go into that question.
Yeah.
You know, another part of the becoming one. Well, my husband mentioned, all right, we know that physical union, that sexual union,
Yeah.
all right, that is a part of becoming one. And we don't want to forget about it. Because if it is that you're a husband and wife and you're neglecting that part of your relationship,
Yes.
that sexual part of your relationship, it's going to bring you apart.
Yeah,
Remember
and-
what the
and-
word says about that? Eh?
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say, because, you know, give no place to the devil.
Yes.
You understand?
The word also speaks about not giving the devil a foothold.
Foothold. Yeah.
But if it is that you have to stay apart sexually,
Let it be for a reason.
let it be
Yeah.
for
With
fasting,
consent,
and
for
there must
fasting
be
and praying, agreement again.
Yes, there
You
must be
understand?
consent.
Lest the devil comes in.
Right.
So withholding your sex from your husband or your wife
Problems.
because you're vexed about something. I mean, come
That's
on.
not godly.
That's not advisable. I
It's
would say
not-
that it's not godly. It's not advisable.
It's not advisable.
You
It can.
understand?
It gives the devil a foothold.
Yeah.
All right, and you know, even thinking about the whole foothold thing, going back to even before you got married. All right, that's why it's so dangerous. That's why the Bible speaks about fleeing
Yeah.
fornication and these things. What you're bringing into the marriage is a lot of soul ties.
Yeah,
We have to
yeah.
be very careful about that. And I don't think a lot of people think about
How it
coming into a
works.
marriage and having to break soul
Soul
ties
ties,
even
yeah.
before, because when you become one with your husband, you are also one with all these other people that you slept with.
Well, you know,
So that's a complication right there.
Here where it becomes a bit in a simply but yet profound way. And remember, I was reading this book by Dr. London, and she said in the book, and I think in one of our classes too, she said, you have one person in your bed, but another person in your head. Think on that.
That's
So
it.
if you want to understand what soul ties mean to a certain extent, is that you cannot remove the thought of what you did with that person, how you feel about that person. You understand? You understand what I'm saying? So you may have sexual relationship prior to marriage, and then you get into the marriage, but no, everything you did back then, you're trying to do it again to your now husband or wife, and if they are not functioning like that individual that you had that sexual encounter with, you tend to now pull back because you're already comparing, and you're gone down a path where if you don't understand what is happening, then you hiding. You understand? Actually, you're committing adultery. You are.
In your heart.
In your head. Yeah.
Remember what the Bible says about
You
that?
understand what I'm saying? So you
Yes.
see, that's a dangerous part for married couples or individual in a marriage to be on. Then you ask yourself again, why do people say I love you, but there's some kind of, just imagine on the flip side, the husband and the wife experiencing the same thing. Both of them trying to pleasure each other like they pleasured whoever it was in the past, or trying to receive pleasure from each other like how someone probably would have done it to them in the past. You understand what kind of complication we actually
Real
dealing with there?
complications. Real complications. That's why the Bible wants us to do it the right way.
Correct way.
Stay pure. Stay pure. So those of you out there who are single, we implore you, stay pure. Wait for your husband or your wife. That is the right way. That's the biblical way. That is the godly way. And even within marriage, stay pure. Stay with your husband or your wife. There are many who are leaving their husband or their wife and going out there. But it is not the way of God. When you join yourself, the Bible speaks about joining yourself with a harlot.
With a
It's like
harlot.
it's not what God expects of us. All right? Do you not know, and this comes from 1 Corinthians 6, verse 16 to 18. It says, do you not know that he who unites himself with a prostitute is one with her in body? For it is said, the two shall become one flesh. But whoever is united with the Lord is one with him in spirit. Flee from sexual immorality. All other sins a person commits are outside the body. But whosoever sins sexually sins against their own body.
Yep.
So the Bible is telling you, you become one. So when you commit fornication, all right, outside of marriage, you become one with that person, and then you get married. So it's like your body sharing up. It's like you already one with somebody, or you already one with two persons that you had sexual intercourse with, and now you get married to your husband, and you're joined with this person, with all these persons. You know, it makes things complicated.
Yep.
All right, so
and the thing about it is that your husband or your wife, if they are, you know, in the right channel with God, they will feel the disconnect. They would know, you understand,
there's a
something
problem
is
there.
wrong. They would know that you're experiencing something. So then you being secretive, but yet because of the union, the other individual knows. They feel something is off, but you're not saying what it is. And they're saying to you, I find you a bit distant. I find this, I find that. And then you still not going to man up and stand up and say yes. And again, because sometimes they're afraid of being judged, so they don't want to say it, because they feel like if they say it, the husband or the wife is going to look at them like,
no, your husband or your wife should not be your judge. As a matter of fact, God is the only judge. Your husband or your wife should feel open enough, you know, to speak to you about anything. You know, even in the beginning, remember the man and the woman, they were naked and unashamed.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be able to talk to your husband or your wife about anything. And not feel like they're going to judge you.
yeah.
All right?
And one of the key thing again is like, you know, Thursday night, the guy, Brother Ben from Albert Ben from Trinidad, and he was talking about sexual dreams and so forth. His book that he's,
Right.
you know, and the thing about it, some people stay quiet. They're not open to say, well, honey, last night I had a sexual dream. Ask a friend of mine, if that happens to you, what people call a wet dream, would you tell your husband, your wife? Say, boy, nah. Then ask him why. You know, like, why? If my wife tells me that, I say, okay, let's pray. You know, I don't look at her like, oh, you and the devil is a wicked demon.
So cunning.
So sometimes he don't even use the husband or the wife in the dream. He use a close friend. So, you know, you go and tell your husband or your wife, I dreamt about your friend. So you're telling your husband, I dreamt. You understand what I'm saying? And therefore, you could imagine why people would be scared to say that.
Right.
Because she would think, well, why you dreaming that you're thinking about? No, we're talking about people who understand. We're talking about people who are on some path relationship levels. Because I understand some people why they'll be scared to say that. You understand? And we could talk about that a little bit more, but that's not what we really want to talk about tonight. But just to get you thinking. If you don't understand oneness, and your husband or your wife tell you that they dreamt about your close friend, you would think that they have feelings or they have some kind of thing for that person. And it don't have to be that way.
True.
You understand? So the point you're making is you're supposed to know together. And the reason why he's saying it or she's saying it is because there's nothing to be ashamed of. He knows in his heart, deep within his heart or in her heart, there's nothing that she desires from that other individual. But it's an attack of the enemy.
Attacks.
You understand?
That's it.
It's an attack of the enemy on your marriage, on your oneness, on your unity, on your union. So now when you look deeper, you will say, nah, we ain't having that. And you'll be checking up on each other. These days when my wife wake up, you dream anything? Or you dream last night? We talk about it.
That's right.
And it helps. You see, we could sit down and talk. She ain't gonna look at me funny, like, and just don't say that. Because you understand what I'm saying? She don't have to feel weird. You understand what I'm saying? I don't have to feel weird. But again, there are things that they don't teach us. They don't teach us.
But dreams are important. That's an area. That's a very big area. And maybe sometime in the future we'll have a whole program on
I'll talk
dreams.
to Ben to come in and
do a program.
A session and that.
All right, because it's important. So you want to make sure. And a very important point that my husband brought up that maybe he did not bring to the forefront, but being a team and having each other's back, that is oneness.
Not just in the flesh, but in the spirit
in the
too.
Spirit, you gotta pray for each other.
With each
we
other.
are one.
Yeah.
When your husband or your
husband waking up in the morning and going and pray for himself and praying. But we say they can't do that sometime. But a whole 2-3 months, or you're in a relationship with God, you're living your wife, you are praying for her. No, brother. Why is you praying for the devil attacking her? Because she may be the weaker link in the time. Join hands, join heart, join heads, and join spirit.
Pray
Come
together.
Bible says when 2 or 3 agree, God is in the midst. If you agree touching a thing, you understand there's power
in two.
But the thing you have to understand is the same, is the result.
The unity of the two, because the Bible says 2 is better than 1. All right. Yes, we are 1, but we are 2. United as one.
Just like the eyes analogy.
United.
If you take out one eye, I can't see something over there. I could try my best to look on that side. No,
it's a problem.
I can't see good. But when I take this hand out here, this hand there, out from there, I can see. I can see all here. I can see all here. So watch me. I can see. You get me? So you will see better. You understand? Some people say no man is an idol. Yeah.
I often look at the husband-wife relationship as, in the movies when you have two persons that are starring, you have the 2 stars, right? And you're out there on the battlefield. I like that analogy. You're out there on the battlefield. Let's think about them. Okay, a man and a woman, supposedly they have all the ammunition, all the 2 stars, right? And you're there and you have your ammunition and you're going to take out the enemy. And you know what, your husband fired too, but you have this guy running up on him and you there, you got it back.
See, because
you're a team, you're one.
You're looking at what's up. Because the thing about it, let me show you that. Real good analogy. I can't see behind my head.
No.
I can't see. I can see on the side to a certain extent, but I can't see behind my head. You understand? But at the end of the day, one guy said it like this. He says the enemy in marriage, the enemy wants, he wants husband and wife fighting face to face rather than shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
See, when you look, it's 4 eyes now, the view is broader.
That's right.
Because now, why can't see so high? Eyes can see. You understand what I'm saying? And I can see this part, she can't see that far. So when you learn to fight shoulder to shoulder, soldiers realize they go to fight war there. They're in a line.
Shield overlapping shield.
And not just that, they're in a line, marching on. Marching on. You understand what I'm saying? So you're in a better position. 4 hands better than just 2. Yeah?
That's right.
It's better. That's why people build companies and get a lot of employees. When everybody come together and working together, the company can grow. So when you and your wife work together, right? When all they work together, the marriage can grow.
That's right.
But
we
the
have
marriage
to be
will
united.
die. That relationship will die if 2 persons can't work together.
That's
so if you
right.
see your relationship dying tonight, you need to check and see how well you're working together.
Yes, there must be unity. Unity in a relationship makes things better. You are going forward when you are united.
Yeah,
when you
stronger
are
together.
not united, you're growing apart and things. Just think about it this way. All right, you're one body.
Right.
Would the hand, take something and cut out the next hand, or take something and decide, listen, I don't need the eye, let me joke it out. So the hand take, think about a horror movie. The hand take a knife
psycho.
and joke out the 2 eyes. The hand is not going to benefit as a result.
Yeah.
Or the eyes just realize, listen, I close in my eye, I close in this so that, even if you're walking, you go stumble over and fall.
Amazingly, we have to understand how God created us. And she's talking about the hand. The hand, assists the body. You know, it assists the body. The hand feed the body, the hand clean the body. That's why people have so much difficulty when they don't have a hand.
Yes.
So imagine me giving you a hand, and I just lending you a hand. I'm giving you one, and you are giving me one. Better.
Right.
Yeah. All of you.
Guys,
Let's
we're
go,
talking
let's go,
about
let's go,
we are
let's go.
one, not two. All right, but what about let's jump into the other part of things.
Yeah.
How is your oneness challenge? What happens when, what God says, what I have joined together, let no man
Not even you.
put asunder. Don't let anybody, anything
Yeah.
tear you apart. What God has brought together, don't let anyone put asunder.
And that says that divorce is not really an option.
It's not the will of God.
It's not an option.
It's not God's will that
Yeah.
anybody should get married and then have to be torn apart.
Yeah.
It is not the will of God.
You know.
But let's talk about what can challenge your oneness. All right? Definitely when the devil enters.
Boy.
You give him a foothold in whatever means. We can give him a foothold by being selfish.
Yeah,
So it's
somebody
all about
mentioned
me.
that earlier on.
All about me. I figure I need a car now. Go behind my husband back and listen.
Buy
I don't
the
care
car.
what you say. I go
Yeah.
and buy that car.
Yeah.
That is my money. All right. But in going and buy that car, you create a problem there for your marriage because possibly that marriage cannot sustain that loan. You just figure you're thinking selfish. It's
Yeah,
all about
yeah.
me. I need that car. I deserve that car. You can't tell me don't buy a car. That's my money. That is giving the devil a foothold. There is no agreement
No
there.
argument. You didn't go into that debt together if that's the case.
No.
Or worse yet, you just figure you and your husband have a big savings or they have putting aside that money for retirement. Say, man, what you get more? You just go and take out the money without the man permission because a deal passing.
Yeah.
Everything that people passing and they selling. I tell all about this money thing. The money is always create that
A
issue.
real funny thing. You don't know if 2 days later something happened. The husband
your
can't
little
walk
emergency
again. You
phone.
can't walk again.
You know?
What happened with
That's
you?
why you're supposed to be tapping into. No, you can't even do that. Why? Why?
The
You know?
lying, the lust, all of that. You're giving place to the devil.
Yeah.
Whenever you give the devil a foothold, it creates a division. It pulls you apart in the marriage. It brings confusion and the oneness is challenged.
Yeah.
All right,
And
so
that's
we
it,
have to
then.
be careful about these things:
it's
selfishness,
selfishness,
lust,
blaming each
adultery,
other.
all of these things.
And especially that one, blaming each other. Everything is your wife's fault. Everything is your husband's fault. Oh, you can't get nothing right. You're talking down to your husband. That's disrespectful. You can't talk to your husband like that. You can't get nothing right, man. No, there's a better way. You can't do that. You do that to a man. Wives or wives to be, don't ever do that to a man. No matter how soft you think that man is, he will feel that you don't love him. You disrespect him, he feel like you don't love him. So even if you see your mother or your mother, your auntie, whoever doing that, your friend doing that, leave that where you see, please. That ain't gonna work for you. You may be working for them, but they ain't telling you.
For them at
But they
all.
ain't telling you. They ain't telling you what you're not seeing. So you're just thinking, yeah, you working, but it's not. No, it's not. It's not working. It just look like if he working because you see the man now. He just making sure he still love his wife despite and however she is. He understands something or she understands something that the other person didn't understand. And they may say, well, oh, so I come from family like that. That's how we just deal with things. You have to deal with that before you get married.
That's
Because
right.
that is not welcome. That would cause your marriage to have friction and all sort of issues that you yourself don't want to do. Because after you deal with your husband so, or your wife so, you still have the audacity to say, oh, it's so easy to... I mean, come on, you're disrespectful already. But then now you still want to say, oh, you're so easy to get on edge. If I tell you something, or you're like a boy, or... No, you're disrespectful. You're talking onto the man.
And
In
the
front of your
The Bible
friends.
instructs women,
You're
wives,
Yeah, I mean, you're
to
talking...
respect your husbands.
You're talking down to your husband in front of your friends. And they're laughing. You're making funny jokes about him.
Listen, you just make fun of yourself.
No.
You
So
just
how
say,
you can-
listen, I mean, unless you're really just trying to be funny, you don't say things about yourself to people that go make you feel, a kind of way that go bring down your self-esteem. In the same way,
Yeah.
if a wife is making fun of her husband, she's actually doing it to herself because they are one.
They are one.
You're talking to other people. You're telling your friends about your husband. Listen, my husband, he do this, he do that.
Let me real.
It's really yourself you're bringing
Let me
down.
real. Me and my wife a couple of years, not even more than 2 years ago. Sometimes we used to be around friends and maybe family, and they're making fun of one of us. And when they're making fun, you're joining with one of them and you're talking and you're making fun of the other one. And imagine all this supposed to be one now. And they're making fun of your husband and he's sit down there and trying to defend himself.
And you're laughing at
And you're laughing
doing the
at
same
him.
thing.
You understand? And it's big joke.
We have to be careful with that.
Listen,
Yes.
when the Lord ministered that to me, I said to my wife, I said, babes, you know what? This thing had to stop, Because even though it's joke, sometimes the things that people are saying, it's not good. In a laughable way. So you're laughing at yourself. And one time I stand up and I say, listen, no, don't do it. And then everybody got cold. They didn't like when I said that. Like, you're no longer cool because you're not allowing me to talk bad about your wife. But from that day, it stopped. It was stopped. And it was intentional that I did it because I didn't like it. I didn't see it as funny anymore. You understand? Don't make fun of my wife. Nah, I ain't gonna hit you. But I'm gonna tell you straight up. Don't do that. You feel me? All right, that was a serious moment.
I hear you. Yes, some of us take it for granted, and sometimes, it's the wife or the husband might laugh, but really in their heart they don't feel comfortable. So you might be hitting you might be saying something about your husband. He don't like to bathe in the night. He don't like to bathe. And you're laughing and you're making fun, and he laughing too. But in his heart, he feeling really bad about
She
it.
could be exposing
So
my
you
secret.
don't do that.
Yeah.
You don't do that. You don't make fun of your husband or your wife around friends. That's not right.
Yeah, that's disrespectful.
It's like you're disrespecting your own self because you are one. So let's be very careful about that. All right. So these are things that challenge your oneness. Let's be very careful with that. Another thing that challenges our oneness is our differences. Remember, when you get married, all right, you were not twins. You were not twins getting, and even twins don't think alike necessarily. All right, so you are two different persons coming from two different families, having two different, the socialization. You grew up differently. All right, so obviously there are going to be something. Yes, you're going to have similarities. There might be some things that you like. There might be some things that you're alike. All right, so we might like going fishing. Both of us might like fishing. Both of us might like ice cream. All right, but there are definitely going to be some differences.
Yeah, boy. I mean, a little compromise could work.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, right, you have to know when to compromise and what you're compromising about. For example, I love fishing. So when I want to go fishing, my wife will be like, she don't like fishing. She don't like fishing. Right? So if I go fish today,
I've gone to fish. I've
she
gone
came with
fishing
me.
with him a couple times
She
too.
afraid them come. Right? But at the end of the day, you have to be reasonable. Not because you like something, mean you have to just forget about the other person and just keep doing it because you like it and you understand. I like that. That's how you met me. No, you have to know how to balance. So when she don't like fishing, she have to allow me to go sometime. Now, guys, if when I want to go, and this woman don't want me to go, I catch no fish. Whole night I sit down there fishing, and my mind just there on. She might be fretting. But when she when she said to me, "Okay, hon, go ahead," I was like, "Yes, I have your blessing. I know I'll bring back a good fish. I'll bring back some fish home tonight because I'm not worried." And at the same time, you don't want to be unreasonable. I've gone fishing and still lit. Like she got worried. Don't worry your wife. I've done that kind of stupid thing in the past. You know what I mean? And she will fret. And when I come back home, she gonna be like, "Oh, you stay out too long." I was like, but the fish was biting. And then it's like, you know, so the point is you have to learn to balance. So I've made some changes there. My rod pack up now. I get some bait day before. So you know something going on soon.
Listen, let me not talk about that here.
Yes.
All right, but the fact of the matter is that
Mm-hmm.
we spoke about it before and we keep talking about it. There must be some compromise.
Yeah.
All right, we are different. We're coming together as one, but we are different. We have different personalities. We have different tastes in things. All right, we have different likes, dislikes, but we have to learn, all right, to live together, to be united. We have to learn to compromise. All right, and you know, some of these differences that we have, in any case, can be a strength to your relationship.
Yeah, to understand that too.
Yeah, he might be better, at managing things.
Yeah.
Right. I might be better at
Coming up
cooking.
with good ideas.
You know, I might like cooking.
Yeah.
There are different things that we are better at. You know,
Sometimes, and on the flip side, there might be something you like doing that I don't like doing. Like I don't like doing certain things. You know that, and it's hard for me to. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, to come around that time.
Right.
But if you understand that, I give you the space. I don't mean nothing. Just understand that's not me. So don't try to force me to like something that you like. I mean, that's manipulative.
Let's embrace our differences
Exactly.
and use them for building up the relationship. Like, for example, you know, he plays music. I can't play music. He's a DJ.
She like to dance.
Right? I like to dance. So I go dance. All right.
But simple.
I can, you know, I'm good on the computer in terms of formatting things
Right.
and typing.
I will give her
so
a raw
we
idea
can
and
complement
she gonna
each
make
other.
it. I'm the ideologist. I'm the ideologist. I come up with real ideas.
Real
But
ideas.
when it comes to putting it together and making it something that is not, then she comes in well. For example, again, that's all working together as a team. My wife loves baking. I love selling. So when she bake the cake, I go put the cake up for sale. Somebody will say, well, I need a dozen. And I know, okay, babes, I just made some money for you, but don't put me in the kitchen to bake the cake. Nah, me, I ain't no baker. So you see what I'm saying? So you have to learn how to work your differences out and how to know what will complement each other. So you will have less conflict in your house.
That's
understand?
right. So communicate, talk about it.
Yeah.
If it is, you know, you have some differences, I prefer this, you prefer that. Let's talk about, you know, we have differences, but let's communicate and talk about how we can use these differences, you know, to really build up our relationship and to maintain that oneness. You don't want your differences to pull you apart. Let your differences be used to build up your relationship, to strengthen each other, and to, you know, maintain that oneness.
And ideally, the enemy wants to use your differences sometimes to break you, mash up your relationship.
Not sometimes, always.
But that's why that's one of his trick,
Yeah.
you know. So you see why premarital preparation is very important, because premarital preparation will help you to figure out most of your differences, or it will help the other person to understand your triggers and things about you that, you know, that been there long, that was passed on to you through your gene. You understand? The ways of thinking, get you to understand a family structure, what you were involved in your huts. There are some buttons then you might be pressing in someone's life that every time you touch that, like, is that the person break down or they get really angry because they never dealt with that thing yet? And they will say, every time I talk about that, you know, you just want to, I don't understand. What really going on with you? You're trying to find it at the wrong time. And I wish I knew these things before I got married.
Yeah, me too.
You understand what I'm saying?
We learn.
Because we learn the hard way.
Yes.
We learn the hard way, and that's why we're so passionate about trying to help people.
Yes.
We are still figuring out stuff. We're still learning daily, and that's part of it. Marriage is about that growth. But at the same time, as soon as you see a situation, you figure it out, you climb higher, and you keep going higher. You know, you're maturing. It's like a baby. You're starting those young stages. You see people getting divorced 1 year, 3 years into marriage. One little problem you experience. Oh my goodness, you ready to run? Like, seriously, man? Come together and stand up and fight against the devil and fighting against your marriage. You see Christians breaking up because of something. And a lot of time because you just decide to hide with the issue. You don't find the right help. And you didn't start right. So when you don't start right, you end up in problems. Start right. Don't just, listen, we are encouraging people to go beyond 7 counseling sessions. We are encouraging you to go beyond that.
Prepare for marriage.
You understand?
Find
somebody
out,
that
find
can
out,
help
read
you.
up. There's so much literature out there.
Exactly, buy a book.
Yes.
About premarital preparation.
Yes, find out
Find
what is
something.
my role as a wife.
Yeah.
What should I be doing? You need to read the word.
And it's better when
find
you
out
do it
what
together,
the word
eh?
of God says.
Yeah, when you do it together, talk to each other
Yeah.
about it. See where the husband to be is resistant on certain things, because a lot of time you thinking, I accept that teaching, I accept that is right, but the person
But
you're
you're
gonna
not on
get
the same
married to, you're
page.
not on the same page. You're not agreeing. There's no oneness there. 'Cause he done stuck in his mind already. When I get married, if I want a beer to drink, I go and buy that. I'll tell she that, it's part of my life. 5 beers every month, and Friday night I must drink this. I must buy food outside. Or if he say no, that's not necessary. Let's go and cook a meal and spend time together. Why am I in bed? I ain't do nothing for you. But yet still, the man fixing his mindset. Oh, my friends, just do it. You're leaving and you're cleaving, forgetting, you're forsaking all friends, family. Why else?
Everything you leave behind.
You're forsaking that.
We ain't saying no talk to your family. We just
No.
say leave and cleave. That is what the Bible say, and that's what we say.
Leave them.
You said something there a while ago that brought something to my attention. Now we're talking about, differences, and something that came to mind, is the fact that you like to talk, and I'm more on the quiet side. Yes, everybody knows that Justin Marcus Sabazan likes to talk.
All you
All
can
right,
tell.
and now just
my
start to
wife,
talk a
he
little
come
bit
in
more.
like me now.
Well, you see this thing? So we becoming one. We won. You see, you see what happened there? All you realize what happened there? All right, before I was the quiet, timid one. I hardly used to, butter can melt in my mouth, as people used to say. But now, you see, the talkative one, he rub off on me.
You're maturing so much that the other day in the kitchen, I decided to just become very calm, because I wanted to just calm myself down, because I realized sometimes when you talk too much, the devil could really, use that mouth of yours against you. So I calmed myself I just calmed myself down. My wife was like, babes, you okay? I was like, yeah. You understand? And then my son was like, Daddy, you okay? I was like, yeah. And I was just giving polite and nice, calm and kind words to them. I was also trying to teach them something, because sometimes we could, get a bit wordy in the mornings. We're busy, want to get to work. So things happening, and you can leave and end up going to work on a bad note. And I always keep in mind that, you're not sure when you leave your wife. Sometimes you never came back home together. You never come back home together. You leave, and after that was the last time you see each other, and that could hurt so much that you're going home to an empty bed in the night. So you need to make sure, especially when you're going apart, and then check up on each other and things during the day. You understand? Sometimes you get too busy, rushing, doing everything. All that's what I want, listener. I care about you. That's why I'm sending you a little text. How you doing, babes? You okay? Listen, I learned the hard way. So I ain't song like a perfect, and I know it. I've been down the road of going a whole day. When I drop her, I'd even say, babes, I love you. Not even a little kiss. I gone to work until later. You ready to go, Mo? I mean, come on. And then the night time come now. Yeah. What is that? Yeah. Your husband something, that girl? You're like, come on. It could be better than that. So,
gosh.
Take a picture from this boy.
Yeah.
Yes,
guys, we're learning along the way. All right. So how else is your oneness? How can your oneness be challenged? We say dealing with family history and values. So again, we spoke a little bit about it, but in terms of how you grew up, all right, that's how you were socialized. My family does this. We are accustomed doing it this way. All right, that is how it's done. That is the way it's supposed to be done, and that is what you learned. Right. That is how you grew up all your life, knowing that this must be done this way and not that way. All right, and that's how you were educated. All right, so when it comes to merging now, and your husband doing it a different way, or your wife doing it a different way, and you believe the only way is this way. All right? Again, this is something that can challenge your oneness.
I want to jump to this one. Beliefs, boy. That could be, it could be a challenge. And that's what we talk about. When you come together, you're trying to have a same, not just similar, but same belief system.
Yes.
You can't. Let me just put it as plain as it is. He's a Seventh-day Adventist, and you want to marry to a Catholic. I put it in religious terms.
That can be very difficult.
And a man is accustomed to going to church and not doing nothing when Saturday and Friday afternoon come. He don't spend no money. But to you, he ain't nothing. Or they ain't talk about that before they get married.
That's important.
And then all they trying to figure it out after.
As you go along, that problems stay.
Stop that. Don't do that. That's a no. Red
My
flag.
real quarrel day.
Red flag.
Mm-hmm.
Red flag. Unequally yoked.
That's
You're right.
right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
So that is so true, and you need to be, balanced. I mean, talking about because my wife short and I tall. Some people say unequal yoke is based on height.
Not at all.
What time to give a little kiss, you had to like go down so. Bend your back, all kind of thing. But what we're talking about is not that.
Your belief system. You know
system.
where you're at spiritually, and somebody else is somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Even the before you get married, you need to talk about your priorities. But what are your goals? You need to talk about these things, because sometimes you have plans to go away and study, and your husband or your wife has nothing like that in him. Why would you leave? And you have certain plans that you plan to in 2 years. I plan to do this in 3 years. I plan in 5 years, and you have not shared that with your husband or your wife. And my priority might be, my job.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Like, you need to, I believe, like, if a husband and wife understands that we have certain, we make it mandatory as much as possible in our home. Our top 10 priorities is these. They are these. First thing first in our lives, in this marriage union, is God.
That's right.
So anything to do with God, we don't make excuses. We make sure we give God what is due to Him together. Not that you have the wife alone going to church, husband home cooking, sweeping house. How to do that thing home. No, we ain't talking about that. Both of us go together. You understand? We're talking about togetherness. Worshiping God, praying together, studying the word together, teaching the children together.
That's right.
Togetherness.
That's
right? So if that's your first priority, praise the Lord. All right. And then you want to talk about, family. So God first, family after. So my wife after God, because the time God may tell me to do something that she mightn't quite agree with, but there's also a way that we deal with that, not because God tell you. Like, God is not the author of confusion. He don't create war and fighting and quarrels. So sometimes He speak to you, give you some instruction. Your wife may not be in that place, and you know that she's not there yet. You deal with it the proper way. You go and you say, you have a conversation. She say, I still don't get it. Don't move yet. Pray and ask God to show her, or pray and ask God to show him. Bring it to their attention, Father.
That's right.
And then when you get the release, she'll come and say to your babes, I finally understand what you were saying. And then y'all can move on together. Because now you're one, making decision. Right? And that's why you need to be on the same level, if as much as possible spiritually, praying together, studying the word together, because that is going to help you. Not to be like, I might be reading the word and I get a witness to do something, and my wife was like, she could be like, no, you can't do that thing. What if God tell me to be nice to somebody? God say, bless Kalisha. And my wife like, no, you can't do that. I said, but I read in the word and I show God spoke to me that, or bless some other person, bless Niasha. And my wife is like, no, you can't do that. We're not together. And when I bless, you think you get the blessing? Like, do you think both of us know? Because the Bible says if you give, God will give back unto you. So imagine only one person is a giver in the family. But if two coming together and agree and give, it's better for the one account that we're talking about. You understand? Because when my giving will benefit my wife, and her giving will benefit me.
That's right.
You understand? So, very important. And you could think about other things you want to put, like number 3 would be probably your job, or maybe the church, you understand? Or maybe your children, or family comes there.
Yeah, well, family,
you know?
yeah.
So you can think about other things you want to put under there to make sure now, you know one is in place, everything working good, you pray in the morning, in the evening, you're sick, God, you do what you have to do. Make time for him. If your wife falls sick or she needs you for something, you do your best to attend to her or attend to your husband or vice versa. As urgent as possible. You understand? Because then again, if it is not established that that's the way it's supposed to be, what you would have happening is like your job asking you to stay and do something. And I do understand sometimes what I can be, but and then you need reasoning. People need to have proper reasoning and a good sense of reasoning when dealing with that, because not because we agree that's the way it's supposed to be, that because you call me for something that could wait a little longer, you just say we agree that. So the same thing that's supposed to be working for you start working against you. You're not talking about that. You're using your head. You understand what I'm saying? And you're making decisions in according to wisdom and understanding and knowledge. You understand? And you can put anything else you want under there. So even before you get married, for those of you who are not married, planning to become one with somebody, join, become that one flesh that the Bible talks about, you need to ensure you talk about those things too.
I like that comment there from D. It says one of the things that can challenge spouses is not knowing their individual roles. A husband cannot function as a wife and vice versa. And that's why it's important. We keep pressing and talking about premarital preparation. When you have premarital preparation, you find out, you research what is my role, what is a wife supposed to be like, what am I supposed to do as a wife? All right, find out what the Bible says. All right, discuss with your husband what would you like me to do as a wife? All right, because sometimes he has some expectations that you're not even thinking about.
That could be crazy.
You need to talk about that.
Yeah,
all right, so
it can be in a marriage.
If you're in a marriage and there are certain expectations that have not been communicated, that is conflict. All right, and that is going to bring you apart. It's going to take away from your oneness. All right, so
we just troubleshooting all the time in the marriage.
Yes,
come on, man, you need to find a solution and make things work. You need troubleshooting every minute. What troubleshooting mean? That just hit me there. I don't know. I don't even know why I said that.
Troubleshooting.
From an IT standpoint,
it means that you find out, you locate the problem and you find a solution.
Okay,
right?
So it could be troubleshooting in the marriage.
Yes.
right. Well, that one just hit me there.
Yes.
Yeah. So
all right.
okay.
Another thing, all right, that we can talk about that can challenge your oneness is infidelity.
Yep.
All right.
Big time.
We're talking about we're talking about being
right. Well, yeah. Go ahead.
We're talking about adultery. All right. So a husband or a wife is unfaithful. Obviously, you're making yourself one with somebody else. So you're bringing somebody else into the marriage. All right. And not just adultery, but there's something that we can refer to as spiritual adultery. So people often
talk about it in the dream too.
Right.
And talk about it like, we talk about it earlier on, eh?
Yes.
Yeah.
In terms of, you're
not actually in body, but in mind.
Remember what the Word of God says. If you only look at a woman, all right, and you lost.
You see, that I was saying to you, there's a different side to it, because then not just looking, but also like, fantasizing on the past.
Right.
So you're not just when you look, but some things you may have been involved in, some experience you had. Right. And you cannot leave it alone. You can't seem, and you keep measuring up your significant other.
Yes, to this person.
To that person.
And another thing is the relationship that you have with people.
People.
So you may not be physically committing the adultery, but you have this, you're a woman, and you have this really close friend that is a male, and things that you don't discuss with your husband, you're discussing with him, and you build up
all your feelings.
Well, there's a bond that is being created when you constantly communicating with somebody, and you don't realize it.
You're going and you're praying with some man or woman more than you're praying with your husband and your wife. You're holding hand, person crying on your shoulders, and you're there and you're praying and you're thinking you're doing something good. Listen, the devil just enter your relationship and you don't even know. You didn't even see what happened. These intimate, you understand, when people are under pressure and problems, You know, you have to be wise how you handle that. Unless you could end up in some serious trouble, boy. Trouble.
And you know, sometimes you even you may be having problems in your own marriage, but you're talking about
the
these
wrong
problems
person.
with this person.
Yeah,
So it's
remedy
like
for
another
disaster.
man.
Or
Another man,
woman.
he's there for you emotionally. So you're telling him, look, my husband doesn't do that for me, doesn't. But
Yeah.
oh, and he there and he comforting you. So it's like it's spiritual adultery. It's like you're making a bond
You are.
with this
Not
man
like you are making
or with
that
this woman. All
vice versa.
right, that is not your husband or your wife. It's you know. And then when you know, my husband spoke about it earlier. Is in terms of you're being intimate with your husband or your wife, but while you're being intimate. In the act of it, it's like you're not seeing your husband, you're seeing another man. So you're making love, but you're seeing another woman.
There's a pattern there too that you have to pay attention to, because as I said, the devil is very cunning. So one of the things he does is basically, first of all, when that kind of intimate thing start building, you would see you going to bed and have a dream, and you dream about the same person. You understand what I'm saying? And the type of thing that happened in your dream,
smart.
that seed
He's
just
setting you up.
was planted in your head.
Setting
So
you
you
up.
don't then when you see that person, the first person you see next day or somehow, some way is that person.
And
when
the
you
devil
see that
smart, eh?
person, listen, let me go on. When you see that person, all of a sudden, because you never dealt with the dream and the effects of it, you never call God's, you know, ask God for help.
You never get up and pray.
You
when
didn't get
see
up and
what-
pray.
yeah.
All you get up was do.
Rebuke it
All you
and
get up and
bind
do
that
was
spirit.
just get up and change your underpants and you go back and sleep. Not good. And then you see that person, then all end up in some talk, and then some reason you have for all it to come closer. And the devil working on you, and then your mind.
And sometimes the
your
devil
mind
give
start
them
to
dreams
say-
too, eh? So both of us are having dreams. The one
And the-
one in know that the other one having dreams.
And the flip
He's
side, now
setting all you up.
he give your wife another dream too, a dream on the opposite side to kind of make her get upset with you, and then all they end up in some kind of confusion. All they can be one, all they not
Devil's
one
smart
in
and
spirit
cunning.
again. So then you have this kind of, so it's an attack of the enemy basically. How one of the things he does to affect people marriage life. You understand? So you have to be wise, my people. You have to be wise. So that's why we encourage married people to be naked and be unashamed with each other. You dream that you're experiencing something, come on and say what it is you're experiencing.
Speak up. Let your
You
husband or your
understand?
wife pray for you. Pray with you.
And don't take it for granted in that your husband tell you that he's experiencing certain things, or your wife tells you that she's experiencing certain things. Somebody keep coming after her, and he or she probably find that, you know, they're giving into it. And then you just say, oh yeah, they just pray and they just see a little simple. No, or they go and talk about it. Go down and talk about. That's why the more you cannot be real with your spouse, your wife or your husband, is a remedy for disaster. Remember, the devil wants to separate what God put together.
That's right.
That's what it is. Let's take a comment before you continue. All right, so that Facebook user here is saying, for real, because sometimes someone in a vulnerable situation, and then they confiding in someone else, and before you know it,
You and that person start something.
Right? So a friend said, yes, that's true. I see it happen to too many persons. That's why Jesus
Be the
is
center,
center
of
of
it
it all and no one else.
That's right.
Right? And that is what it is ideally. You understand?
And don't forget the flirting part of it too, because that too is a part of your flirting.
Yeah.
Your flirting is like you're trying to attract another man that's not your husband,
Yeah.
or another woman that's not your wife.
Check
God
yourself.
is not pleased.
Check yourself.
God
Check
is not
yourself.
pleased. It's like you're trying to sweet talk them. You're trying to, you're
You see,
telling
that's
them,
where
hey, you look real nice.
self-control comes
Yeah.
in.
It's
You know,
okay
babes?
to tell somebody to look nice,
Yeah.
but in
Sometimes
the right
I
spirit.
was saying to you,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
where
be
self-control
careful.
comes in.
Yeah.
Because if you as a man, like, as I always say, like, God made me a man. And there's some things that I'm going to feel naturally. I'm going to see a woman, and I might just say she look beautiful. That's the first thought. But now I have to learn to control my mind. The thing about us men, our minds, as long as our eyes are open, our minds are constantly working. we always analyzing things in our minds. The thing is that some of us overanalyze things in our minds, and we have a problem when we start to overanalyze. So you need to see and be careful what you think, because sometimes you can't help it. You would see, and a woman, maybe you would hear somebody would always tell you something, right? Just remember, this devil, and we ain't putting him up on a pinnacle tonight.
At all.
But the
Our God
reality
is
is,
greater.
he has been around a while. He's been studying us. We said that in
Master
this program.
strategist.
So he's been studying you, he's studying I. So he knows. And that's why he vexed when two persons start telling people. When you tell, you tell your wife certain things, she know you have nothing to hide, you're naked. You understand? So the point is, we encourage openness and not having that kind of closeness in your close, where you're secretive about everything in your relationship. You're going to ruin your relationship. These things, you don't hear them in your counseling session.
Naked and unashamed. Let's talk about it. All right, so our time is really counting down. Can you believe 2 hours gone already?
I think we have to run.
All right,
down.
Guys.
But
So
I think
just to wrap up things, we just want to ask you a few questions, because the fact of the matter is, marriage is all about becoming one flesh. All right, for the single persons and for the married persons, we have some questions to ask you. All right, we have some questions that we want you to ask yourself. All right, if you're thinking about getting married.
But that's for the single people.
All right.
Let me take this coming from Dee here.
All right, before we continue.
She says, discernment, especially spiritual discernment, is needful, because some people misinterpret your compliments and take it as
expressing an interest. Very true. Very true.
That's why I say sometimes, Dee, you have to hush your mouth, yes?
Yes.
What ain't come out, why ain't come out? Even if you have I learned that and I'm still learning it, and I apply it even today. I see, I don't say. You understand? I see, I don't say. Because that's it. Yeah, sometimes you have to see and hush your mouth. Especially us men to women. Sometimes the things you say to the woman, she husband probably ain't saying it to her, and you just being genuine.
Yes.
And what happens then? So you need to learn to see. My partner say, employ the spirit of the zip.
Hey.
You understand?
All right, so here are some of the questions we want you to ask yourself, for those of you who are single, thinking about getting married. Because today we talk about oneness and becoming one. All right. What does readiness look like? You're thinking about getting married? What does being ready mean? Are you really ready? Are you ready to get married? Are you ready for that to become one? Based on what we talk about today, are you ready? All right. Are you ready to be selfless? Are you ready to be, a wife? Are you ready to be a husband? Are you ready to respect? Are you ready to love?
You take the ring. You take the
Hey.
ring. You take the ring.
Oh gosh.
But do you know why you take the ring?
What is the reason for you wanting to get married?
Do you know why? You know why you're getting yourself involved in?
Hey, are you preparing yourself for what you say you desire? Are you preparing yourself? Do you understand what it means?
How are you preparing yourself?
Yeah.
You want to make a decision like such, You
can't get up today and say, yeah, let me just get married. It's a very serious commitment.
Yeah, it's a serious thing.
When you make it, it is for life.
Yeah.
And when you're making such a serious commitment, any serious commitment, you can't just get up and just make it so.
Yeah. And this is hard. It's harder when you don't make it already and you have to go through all these things you have to learn. One of the things is that when you especially get premarital preparation, is not forgetting what you got. You're in it, you don't forget it. Even in your counseling session, because I believe there still does be some good information that is passed on to you. It's just that premarital preparation, the process is a little more in detail. So that in premarital preparation, you don't just touch things on the surface and go, okay, who going to be spending their money? But what we try to do is to identify why you feel that way. Where is that thing coming from? You understand? so that you know the other person know, both of all you understand each other.
You're on the same page.
Yeah, you understand, and then you say, okay, we agree, we disagree first because my way was this way, your way was that way. Well, how can we agree? That's why you want to come, the conclusion you want to come to. How can we agree as we move forward together? And there are some critical areas when you think about readiness. You have to think about. If you think about your money, we talk about that. You have to think about how you want to share your body with somebody, because the Bible says, and the man body is not his, nor the wife body. So the husband is not his body, nor his wife body, not hers anymore. But even then, you still have to have a little reasoning. You understand? And then you think about trust. You have to think about respect. You have to think about love. You have to think about communication. We could do a session on communication one day. But these are some pillars. You understand? How you're going to spend time together praying, building intimacy with God, studying the Word. You understand? Talk about your future. You could talk about vacation and things too, you know. But will you go on a vacation with somebody and all they can communicate properly? You don't trust the person. Every minute you have to be watching them under your eyes, as what people say. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of things, and most persons again struggling in their sexual lives sometimes is because there are other things that are not working properly. So everything hinges on each other. So you want to make sure as much as possible that you, wherever there are things that are not working, that you try to fix it fast, quick and fast, so that the other things could work. The engine could keep turning. I like to think about think about it like it's like you're on this train on a track, and it's on track. Everything is running. The wheel is running on the track. Sometimes something push the train off track. The wheel don't run smooth anymore because it's not where it's supposed to be. So there may be things in your life, that in your marriage life now, that could probably kind of throw you off track. But when all they come together and all they agree and all they come back on track, the marriage will definitely work properly. So you must keep that in mind. Try to stay on track. And staying on track is having a good relationship with God. You can't take God out of that relationship. And that's what we're talking about, kingdom marriage here. We ain't just talking about marriage, kind of form and shape that people talk about. They married talking, I think man marrying to what kind of doll.
Dog and cat and
no, they have, man have robot. You understand? They have robot that they married, silicone doll.
All kind of thing. Animals too, that was a dog and cat and thing.
So we're talking about kingdom marriage, godly thing. All right, so guys, I think we came to the end of our discussion tonight.
Yes.
It's 9 o'clock on the dot. Well, 1 o'clock say 3 past.
What?
But this one is a minute. But nonetheless, I believe we did what God wanted us to do tonight. We shared what He placed in our lips.
We
on
hope
our lips,
that
so
somebody somewhere benefited from our discussion tonight.
And do me a little favor while you're at it. If you have this stream, you just share it with at least 2 or 3 persons, that probably that are married. You never know, the information herein might just they might be an issue that they probably experiencing now, and what we talked about probably will stir them to see things differently. It might bring healing to our relationship. You never know. All right, I strongly believe that's the case. But share again, even with somebody who's not married as yet. Share with somebody and let them get the information. If you want to go back on Hope FM YouTube page, you can search there for the Becoming One program. So this is our 4th episode.
This is our third
episode.
Yeah.
So there's 2 other episodes there. You can go back and view it. The marriage covenant and what was the last one?
The last one we had with Dr. London is Before You Say I Do.
So that one was specifically for single people planning to get married.
Yes.
All right, Before You Say I Do. Next time when we come back, we would have a guest. Yeah,
hopefully,
we will have a guest.
Yes.
So
stay tuned in. So next month, the second Friday, remember every second Friday we're on with Becoming One. But every Friday, all right, there will still be something on the radio station.
Something on the radio station.
Stay tuned.
So again,
if we're not on, you'll see ISCF
or
some
the
other
Wilkinson might be
the Wilkinsons.
Yeah. Sometimes we might come in and do a program not necessarily a marriage.
Yes.
But the Friday, the second Friday in every month is basically for this program. So please take an opportunity and share it with someone. And also, yeah, I think that's all I want to say.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so guys, thank you again. Thank you again, and blessings.
Have a great weekend.
Blessed night. Hopefully, I'll see you down at Gospel Expression tomorrow. Yeah, I might see you down there, but we'll be down there tomorrow. But to continue to hope in the morning, God's Spear Life, and take another bit of the Kingdom ride. I think there's something interesting dropping at 9 o'clock tomorrow. So you definitely don't want to miss it on that one. All right. So God bless you. Have a great
evening and a great weekend.
All right.
Becoming one. For this reason, a man shall leave his mother and father and cleave to his own wife, and the two shall become one flesh. Becoming One, a program designed to strengthen marriages, challenge couples, and reignite our passion for loving godly relationships. Join us as we discuss kingdom marriage principles on Becoming One, hosted by the Sabazans. Becoming One.